right now. Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
All right, thanks a lot, Paul, and thank you for sticking around here for the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I'm Rich Walsh. Give us a call tonight, 412-575-2600 is the number. Obviously, we're talking about the Pittsburgh Penguins tonight. They're facing elimination down 3-2 in this series. Game 6 tomorrow night at PPG. I was at Game 5 last night in Washington, D.C., a very frustrated locker room. I wouldn't say those guys are dejected, though. I think it's still a confident locker room. That's my take from it. I was inside there talking to guys, and especially when I talked to Sidney Crosby, it doesn't seem like these guys are panicking. They're not worried. They've been in this situation before. Only once, if you remember, back in 2016 in the Eastern Conference Finals against Tampa, who also won today, and they're headed back to the finals. Well, they were down 3-2, went to Tampa, and they won that game 5-2, came back home and won 2-1, and went on to the Stanley Cup Finals to win their first Stanley Cup since 2009. That was in 16. And then last year, they faced elimination a couple times. Obviously, they faced it against Ottawa, then Washington, and then the 2 against Tampa. So they faced elimination 4 times the last 2 years. Only once were they down 3-2. The Penguins need to win the next 2 games or their season is over. I think they can win tomorrow. Actually, I think they will win tomorrow. They should have won yesterday. I think they will win tomorrow at home. They haven't played well at home, but they won their last game at home. They're due to win another game at home. That's just my opinion. I think it's going to be a tight game until they figure some things out. I like a 4-2 kind of game. 4-2 kind of Pens win. And then who knows? Then the pressure is on the Capitals if you go to a Game 7. I'm not saying that the Penguins are going to win this series. I'm saying they're going to force a Game 7. I think you can just feel the confidence in that room. They think they're the better team. They thought they played their best game, and things just didn't go their way. A couple defensive meltdowns, miscommunications there at the end for the 3rd and the 4th goal. And then all of a sudden, Washington gets the result that they wanted. The Pens don't get the result that they wanted. But I think the Penguins did deserve a better outcome than what happened yesterday. The one thing that's concerning to me, and we talked about this on the #1 Conference Sports Showdown coming up tonight, is the Pens blew 2 so far against the Capitals, blew 2 third-period leads. 1-goal leads, but they were still 2 third-period leads. So the Caps aren't going away. They've proven that so far. And I think it's concerning that that the Penguins are giving up these leads. Championship teams don't do that. They didn't do it last year. The Pens were always really good if they had a lead in the 3rd period. They haven't been so far. Now, whether you blame Chris Letang or Matt Murray or whoever you blame, they got to get it fixed, and they have to get it fixed fast. Murray's always been really good after losing a game. He was I think he's 11-2 now. He did lose 1 here this year. That was Game 3, I think, against the Capitals, and he was 10-1 headed into that. Then he was 10-2, and I think he was 11-1 after they won Game 4. So, Murray has always been really good in bounce-back games. So have the Penguins the last 2 years. I mean, come on, they've been great in all games. They were the best team in the league the last 2 years, and I still think they're one of the best teams. And I think they deserve to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. I think they're a better team than this Caps team. This Caps team, I don't think, is even as good as the one that they put on the ice last year. I think the Pens are a better team than they were last year. And you might disagree with me, but look at the offensive weapons they have. I mean, it's basically the same, and they added Derek Brassard. Derek Brassard hasn't even played to his potential right now. He's been a playoff performer. He's been big play, what was his big game brass, they used to call him. He's not that right now. He needs to figure out a way to find the back of the net, and he hasn't done that so far. And he's not going to do it playing on the 4th line. I think you need to put him on that 3rd line. I also would make some changes. We talk about this on the Showdown tonight. Speaking of the Showdown, we got Andrew Filipponi, Tim Benz, Jason Mackey on the show tonight, and we talk about what changes we think that the Penguins should make. I'll tell you my changes. I would change up the lines a little bit. I don't know if they do that. They had success with the lines yesterday in Washington, but I wouldn't be opposed to moving Phil Kessel up to Malkin. It seems like, that's the guy that he wants to play with. Malkin always had success playing with them. I would move Kessel up to the second line, maybe move Simone off that first line down to the fourth line, put someone like Brian Rust up on that second line, or maybe not Connor Sherry, because he hasn't been playing well either. Maybe move Patrick Hornquist up to that first line and go with a Hagelin, Malkin, Kessel, or Hornquist, Malkin, Kessel, something like that, the second line. And you'll be able to figure some things out, but Brassard can play with like a Hagelin, juggle some things up a little bit. And that's what I would do. And, Murray's going to play better. And I'm sure he'll even admit that. I think that third goal, that's a save that he could make. I'm trying to think of the other two goals. The one goal, the power play goal, their first goal, that's a save that he should make. So he's had some issues. Maybe he isn't the player that he was last year in the postseason, and maybe we'll see that tomorrow. I think just being home, confident group of guys, they know they can beat the Capitals. They force a Game 7. That's just my opinion. That's my prediction for tomorrow. So we'll be taking your phone calls tonight on the Pens. Also, Vegas with a big win tonight. Marc-Andre Fleury with another shutout, his fourth shutout this postseason. He's headed to the Western Conference Finals, and we'll see if his ex-teammates are headed to the Eastern Conference Finals. But we know one beloved guy in this town is going to a final in the NHL, and that is Marc-Andre Fleury. We're taking your phone calls tonight. 412-575-2600 is the number. You can always tweet me at Richie Walsh. We'll be back in a couple minutes.